morning. I'd like to thank you all for the attention and beside the screen for this opportunity. My name is Tsuda, Carlos Eduardo Tsuda, and I present my new work, Becoming Environment as an Assemblage. In recent rereadings of my artworks, I was able to understand other perspectives that I had not yet considered, neither in my artistic researches nor in my critical writings. I realized that, in addition to the contextual and physical-spatial specificities in relation to the surroundings, the specificities read from the notion of environment, site-specific and context-specific. These works also contained in their process a tendency or movement of dissolution in relation to their surroundings and the assemblages that produce them. It operated from their center to their extremities, as if, in addition to being practiced in the public space and being in relationship with it in numerous instances, it tended to dissolve in its realization. It deterritorialized itself by entering into becoming with its surroundings, in lines of flight that traversed the qualitative intensities presented in the action and reverberated in the environment, and moreover in the molecularization of parts of the program or its totality, a becoming environment. These works can be performances for public spaces with or without public participation, urban interventions, performance in enclosed and immersive environments, and performance and or installations with social political environment themes. In this context, creative process involving the construction of interactivity networks, the creation of temporary activation networks, the development of promotion and of short, medium, and long-term negotiation processes, the development of subversion, hacking, infiltration, and contamination process, the creation of temporal and spatial sensations and distortions, and the affective transformation of interpersonal and social relationships. Its formulations derives from the concept of becoming in Deleuze and Guattari, a movement of desubjectivation in which something or someone leaves their stratified and subjective existence marked by a chronological time, their personal memories and their history in well-defined gestalt relations, and a white wall for signifiers there to bounce back, thus reaching a multiple, indiscernible existence from another temporality, not measurable or spatialized, a duration, a line that has neither a point of origin nor a point of arrival, just a transversal line that makes them closer no matter what their distance. In the words of the authors, quotation marks, if becoming is a block, a line block, is because it constitutes a zone of proximity and indiscernibility, a no man's land, a non-localizable relation, sweeping up the two distant and contiguous points, carrying one into the proximity of the other. And the border proximity is indifferent to both contiguity and to distance.
Tsuda, sorry, your PowerPoint is frozen. Is like this?
Yeah, I'm not changing now.
Okay.
Okay. Becoming is the movement by which the line frees itself from the point and renders points indiscernible. The rhizome, the opposite of arborescence, break away from arborescence. Becoming is an anti-memory. Deleuze and Guattari, page 293. In this context, its transversal approaches, sensations, and intensities of the work's constitutive elements to physical and sensory characteristics and social, political, cultural aspects of the surrounding, at the same time that it established zones of proximity to the assemblage that produced its deterritorializations, and to other assemblages in space through reverberations. When reverberating assemblage intensities, it also establishes proximity with sensations experienced by the spectator, making them into becoming in relation to their own surroundings. Therefore, it dialogues with the notions of environment and interactivity in Júlio Plaza, with regard to the emphasis on the disappearance and dematerialization of the work of art in artistic environments with public participation. In Plaza's words, quotation marks, artistic environments with public participation contributes to the disappearance and dematerialization of the work of art replaced by perceptual situation, perception as recreation. Plaza, 2003, page 14. I start from this statement to point out one of the aspects of the becoming environment, presented exactly at this moment when there is this dissolution of authorship to a perspective situation of recreation. As the program is executed, the work dissolves into the countless relational and participatory actions in the space, entering into becoming with different qualities in other assemblages of its surroundings. In these works, what's most characteristic is the capacity of its program to adapt and incorporate everything that is going on, without invalidating its programmatic proposition. In this sense, it enters into becoming with the environment like a virus in which contamination and programmatic sharing disseminate and dissolve the program in the same instant. Its DNA reference is lost, as its code incorporates other codes in this process of expansion and propagation. In each performance, no matter the directions taken by the artist, the work manifests itself in a completely different way and an intrinsic relation to its surroundings. I mentioned the urban sound intervention promenade, presented in 5 different cities in the world: Paris in France, Cadiz in Spain, São Paulo in Brazil, Bogotá in Colombia, and Munich in Germany, between the years of 2012 and 2016. In it, I run an extensive program of participatory actions that have been modified over the course of its achievements. So I will play a video of the performance presented in São Paulo in 2015. So initially thought as performance procedures or even as a way of making the sound intervention feasible, each negotiation actions with residents became the epicenter of the transformations and incorporations of new elements in the program. Share is paused. I don't know what it's still sharing. Okay.
Now, no.
Now it's working.
Okay.
The video was okay.
Yes.
Ok, so now it's working again. Ok. Então, set negotiation actions right in the program. In each city and situation, I found completely different realities, which opened me to new horizons of actions and to a systematic change of the program. So I will show some pictures. This is the sound occupation in São Paulo, which this is the Minhocão, this huge highway that run through the center, the downtown area of São Paulo. Here is some speakers that I read my gears when I realized the action in Paris. I only use speakers that I found in the houses I'm negotiating with. This is the sound map, the window occupation in Cadiz. This is the windows that I had, and normally I start to choose which frequency goes to which window. No? This is a cartographic study in my derived performances in Munich, where I start to choose in which street I'm going to start negotiation. These are some of other studies that I made. Normally I do by bike, and so I'm going to continue. I start from the establishment of temporary networks of affections in order to consolidate the social network that makes possible not only the execution of the planned action, but also the creation of countless others. In this sense, borders are blurred between poetic operation and public participation. The focus becomes the new program instructions and that are emerging, and the perception of those who are participating in the proposition based on this experience created in this common ground among all. Temporary activation networks are created and activated in different moments and spaces, in a flow of actions and public participation that shapes itself in the present. Dori Massey contributes to this image by discussing the concept of place, a center of confluences of social, political, economic relations, network of communications, fluxes, social cultural webs in constant evolution, and multiple processes wrapped in a continuum in becoming. In this sense, temporalities that coexist and transform into modular dynamics, which come and go in time and space, in lines of flight and simultaneous and continuous process of deterritorialization and reterritorialization. They are, therefore, quote Marx, focus of the encounter and the non-encounter of the previously unrelated and, thus, essential to the generation of the new. Massey, 2008, page 111. In this sense, the possibility of reapplying a part of its program in other realizations show us its potential to establish connection with situational and circumstantial aspects of the space, much more based on social cultural than physical characteristics. This possibility is based on the principle that its integration to the new environment will imply the deconstruction and reframing of part of this code in order to adhere to the new context. This denotes the program's capacity and need to establish a deep and constituent relationship with its surroundings at the extremes of public participation. I will proceed the analysis of case studies focusing on installation and or performance works for public space or not, which provides an environmental transposition through a sensory experience, never in a narrative, figurative, or representative way. So I will quote the audiovisual performance Uncertainties by the collective Telemusique, which is represented here by the installation Uncertainties Walk. We deal with the sensation of fear and uncertainty and issues of political polarization and media saturation, based on low contrast images and saturated and repetitive sounds. We seek to involve to evoke this sensational relation to the surroundings now, in the present time, and in the present reality, without resorting a cinematographic genres for the construction of associative bridges and subjectivations, and also without provoking them with chain of signs. We do not refer to these sensations, we do not bring cultural images that represent them, nor we attract the spectator to our personal universe. We enter into becoming with these sensations, which in turn deterritorialize themselves, entering into becoming with the spectator's socio-political environmental circumstances, establishing longitudinal that transversalize these sensations and reverberations in the spectator's body cavities, be fear, be uncertainty. So I'm concluding by saying that these qualities intensities construct the happening as an experience, establishing transversalities between people and their surroundings. Despite the guidance of creative artists in choosing the sensory qualities they want to work on, as we enter into becoming with this social political media nebulization, a process of desubjectivization and deterritorialization of such sensations and feelings is established, molecularizing then in their multiple reflections in space until they become tiny reverberating particles. It reverberates sensations in the spectators insofar as they operate intensities as an experience, evoking their own sensations in relation with their surroundings. So these some images of the performance. And thank you all for your attention.